Hi guys, my name is Melanie Yang, and today I'm going to talk to you guys about my first film analysis. So my first film analysis is on The Prestige. That is the movie I have decided to watch and write my first paper on. The Prestige is about two rivals who were partners up until the tragic death of a loved one and their assistant. The film is also based off of an act that was done in the movie and showed some sort of teleportation. And throughout the film, it also led to new discoveries and new science-y stuff that led to cloning. So yeah. Throughout the film, it's very important to pay attention, or at least I feel like it's very important to pay attention to the different sentences that are being said and just the little details that they give you, because towards the end of the movie, you're going to refer back and be like, oh my God, this is why that is like that. Like, they literally said this in this scene. Okay, they literally, drop hint in this scene, and then you slowly start putting it together, and that's when you realize oh my God, I should have paid more attention. But it is a lot of information and a lot of things that are going on within the film too, so it's okay if you also miss it, because I completely missed it. But the film is so good. If you have not seen it yet, I would recommend you to watch it. If you have seen it, I recommend you to watch it again. But anyways, back to the film. It was an amazing film. I really enjoyed watching it. So, like I said, it's about two rivals who were partners up until the death of an assistant. The assistant was one of the magician's wife. Something went really wrong in the act. The two magicians are named Bonder and Inger. For that act, Inger was assigned to tie Julia, who was the assistant's ankles, and Bonder was assigned to tie Julia's wrist. And Julia was let down into a water tank, and her task in the act was to escape out of those knots and escape the water. But she wasn't able to do that, which led to her death. Another scene that stood out to me during that involved with the death is at Julia's funeral, when Inger was very upset and Bonder was questioning him, did you tie one knot or did you tie double? And pay attention to the word double in the film, because they do say that a lot, and I wish I paid more attention to it, but it's okay. But Bonder would just tell them, I don't know. If you were to ask me, I just really couldn't tell you if it was a single or not. And that's when Inger found his diary. He also wrote that I still to this day, I don't know, did I do one knot or did I do two knots? He still just really doesn't know. And the film is also based off of an act that Bonder does. Later in the film, there's a scene where Bonder enters through one door and comes out the other door, as if he teleported. And Inger became so obsessed with trying to perfect this act that he did anything to just try and do it as well. So throughout the film, he went and found himself a double, who looked exactly like him, to be able to do the act with him. But later on in the film, everything gets a lot more crazy, because that's the secret to Bonder's act, is the fact that he has a twin brother. Yes, you heard it right. He has a twin brother. And that's really crazy to me, because I never would have thought that he had a twin brother. I was shocked. And the crazy thing is, no one else knows about Bonder's twin brother as well. It's basically two men living the same life, but they're not the same person. Although they share the same wife, the same kid, and the same, job and everything, they're not the same person, because Bonder has his own thing going on, his own thoughts, his own subconscious, his own personality, his own memories, and Fallon, who's his twin brother, also has his own things as well. And another proof to this is later on in the film, you get to see that Bonder really loves the wife that they shared, and her name is Sarah, whereas Fallon goes and falls in love with Olivia, and Olivia is one of Ingrir's previous assistants who came to spy on Bonder about his teleportation act, and it's a lot to take in, but if you pay close attention to all the details, they all fall into place, and it's very crazy because then it leads you to thinking like, oh my god, how does this relate to the things that we learn in class? How does this relate to philosophy? Oh wait, this is how it relates. And then it's just like all about putting the puzzle together, and it's just crazy. Towards the end, it's also relates to like Ingrir developing this new scientific clone stuff, and he was able to create this machine that was able to create a clone of him. And when this clone was created, in that split second, he was a duplicate of Ingrir, but he wasn't Ingrir, because he could have, like, once he developed his own memories and his own self-conscious, his own thoughts, he would have became his own person. Other than that, he would have also, Ingrir would also kill off his clone in his act. And what led me to thinking when watching this act was that I felt that Ingrir killing his clone was a way of him going through and living through what Julia, his wife, went through, experiencing death and just living through her pain, trying to comfort him in a way. I don't know how to explain it, but yeah, other than that, this film is an amazing film. It talks about like doubles and clones and like twins, and how like it makes you have like a different perception on certain things, and it makes you think a lot about like how the film relates to everything that we have learned in class.